Hi everybody, welcome back to Breakfast Buddies. And
Good
today
morning.
we again have myself, Beth, and Lindsay. We're
Hello.
going to start with our internal weather and go through how we're all feeling today. So, Lindsay, how do you feel this morning?
I feel quite sunny this morning.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll get brighter and brighter throughout the day. To
I'm
enjoy
guessing it
it.
all feels that way when you look at your baby in first thing in the morning.
Yeah, we managed to get some sleep last night, so
Yay.
Yes.
not the best of sleep. We still had broken sleep, but we only woke up twice in the night instead of 5
good.
times. So that's a
Oh,
massive improvement.
brilliant.
So
That's
from
really
going
good.
from every hour and a half to 4 hour gap, yeah, makes you feel a massive difference. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm feeling quite good today. So hopefully it'll be a good day.
Oh,
Good.
fantastic. What about you, Beth? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling like how it looks outside here. I'm feeling like a spring morning. The daffodils are out. It's all good. Everything's going smoothly so far. And it's only 10:30, so I think that should be my tone for the rest of the day, hopefully.
Yeah, sounds good. Good. I do like the fact that it's still maintained from yesterday with the weather as well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it stays like this for maybe another week, hopefully, for Britain.
Toe some fingers.
Are we having a heat wave this week and next week?
I'm not sure. I've heard that it's going up to like 18, 19. So that sounds absolutely balmy for Britain.
I can't wait for
Yeah.
that if that's the case. Today, I'm the same. I feel quite sunny. It's nice to just. I woke up at 6:30 with the dogs moaning, saying like, "I want to get up because the sun's coming through the house." They don't understand that it's 6:30 in the morning. But other than that, I've been feeling quite like happy, upbeat, which is good.
That is good.
Yeah. And yesterday we were learning about each other with asking some really fun, like interesting questions like hobbies, where do you come from, what you do here at the yard. And I've been thinking we could get Lindsay to ask us questions about us working here and getting to know us a little bit more. So Lindsay, do you have any questions you'd like to ask us?
I do. So I'll start with Beth. What made you want to get involved with youth work?
So basically, when I started uni, I did my undergraduate in criminology. And to begin with, I was like, yes, I want to be a part of youth offending. It's going to be really good. And I volunteered for the youth offending team in Northampton for, I think it was nearly like a year. And it was really good. And then when it came to the end of like my time at uni, I thought, maybe I'm not enjoying this as much as I thought I would. So then kind of the pandemic happened and I was going to not do a master's because I thought, what's the point? And then I thought, I'm not even going to get a job because there's no jobs. So I thought, I want to work with young people. I used to go to a youth club when I was younger. I loved the difference that made. So I was just having a look around and then I saw the MA in Youth and Community Leadership. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to give that a go. So, yeah, I've always wanted to work with kids. Even when I was at school, I was like, I'm going to be a child psychologist. Obviously, I didn't take it quite that far, but yeah, and I'm absolutely loving it. So it's really good.
That's good.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. That's really cool. And
What about you, Rach? What made you want to get involved with youth work?
well, I've always wanted to work with people with disabilities, and I didn't know what age range would be the best fit for me. And when I came across the yard and getting to work with people on a one-to-one basis, I realised that it's not just people with disabilities, but people with different backgrounds and stories, and learning that I just want to help people and be there to also be a role model as well. Because when I was growing up as in Toaster, there wasn't really many people that I could look up to who also had disabilities. So just being there and showing them that you can still work and be part of like a community and stuff, regardless of the differences you have. Just doing that alone, I know I'm making a big difference, and eventually would like to maybe do more special needs work if needed in the establishment itself. But yeah.
That's amazing.
Now I want to know why you want to do youth work, Lindsay.
Yeah.
I was a challenging child, so
Wow.
I spent a lot of time with obviously the guy I was talking about just now, the youth worker, and obviously like he helped me massively growing up. And obviously, like a lot of children don't get that help and support at home. Their parents don't sort of understand that, you know, you've got the child stage, the baby stage, that's sort of easy. And then when you've got like that turn into adolescent stage, it's a lot more difficult because they're developing into the person they're going to be, etc. And there's not really a lot of understanding, and kids just sort of get pushed and don't really get that support that they need at home.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've got a challenging child myself. So it was a bit of support with that. And then obviously just to be able to support other young people who are going through, you know, times in their life that may be hard or maybe the best times of their life that they're doing, but to support them on their journey and, you know, obviously educate them and help them get life skills that they need to, you know, to become amazing people that they want to be.
Yeah, well, you've got that lived experience, haven't you? Like, as you said, you were challenging as a young person yourself. So you can be like, look, this is what happened for me. Really relatable for them to.
Yeah. So that's why I went into it. And I am enjoying it, I'll be honest. It is, it's definitely like, it's very interesting of what like you can learn. And obviously there's like all different types of children, different groups, different ethnic groups. Obviously, like Rachel said, disabilities, different, you know, children, like some are, you know, more naughty than others, some are sort of like, how can I put it, like more academic, some like to do like, you know, groups and want to be part of a group, others are just, you know, misled children who need guidance, who are going down the wrong, you know, there's loads of different things why I wanted to do it, I'll be honest, but the main one was obviously for my own self, where I had past experience and then now I'm going through with my son as well, so it all helps to sort of get through with my son. And then obviously with the degree, like he helps me to get through it, and then obviously I help him with his behaviors by what I learn. So it's really good, I'll be honest.
Oh, that's fantastic though.
Yeah,
it's nice to know that you can, like Beth said, you can relate for other children in youth clubs.
And I can use it not just like if I was in a work or a placement, I can use it at home as well with my own children. Obviously the area I live in it's not the worst area in Cardiff, but it's not the best area in Cardiff. There's a lot of, you know, like problems with the youths and, you know, there's not a lot of provision for them. So like I did say in placement, I would love to be able to help them around the area to get something this in place for them as a provision where they can go instead of the mischief that they're all getting into, because there is nothing for them. They've taken away their parks. I think we've got 2 parks left in the area out of probably about 10. Because they were causing so much trouble in the parks, they've just, the council have, they're gone. They won't tolerate it because obviously they're causing damage in there and, you know, late night drinking, things like that. People who live by the parks don't want to tolerate that, you know. So the easiest solution is to remove the park, and then obviously other youngsters who use that then miss out. We do like have a skate park and things, but then even there, like my son said they were making fires there the other week, and that'll be the next thing that they'll get rid of then because they're causing trouble there. So it's like as soon as they cause trouble, whatever the provision is gone.
Just take it away.
There's
working with them.
Rather than work with them and give them something.
Yeah.
When I was young, there used to be a bus. They used to come around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that up in Northampton.
No.
I can't remember what it was called, but he used to have like sounds crazy. There was like a DJ guy on there, and he used to have like decks and teach the kids like how to do the decks and, you know, like MCing and there'd be food on the bus, and then there'd be like computers on there, and then there'd be like girls and boy youth workers for like obviously the girls to be able to talk to and the boys. And it was like this bus. There was just like a double-decker bus full of graffiti. And we used to live here, like as soon as we know the bus was coming, we'd be waiting around for the bus to come. But obviously there's nothing really like that anymore. It doesn't come up here the best. It goes to other areas of Cardiff, but it doesn't come up here.
It shows how important it is to have amenities of like parks, but also like youth centres, because the reason there's like problems in the parks and it's shutting down is probably
they're not being educated and they're not getting that help
and
support. Like some of these kids could be acting up because they need support and help, and they're not getting it, so they're venting in other ways to get attention.
And it's not like they're bad children at all. It's just they got nowhere to go, no one to get the support from, and that's why it's just so important that we do what we do, because
for them to have somebody. Definitely. No, I agree.
Definitely. Are there any other questions you have, Lindsay?
What I'll ask you, Rich, what kinds of things do you do at the yard for the young people?
So at the yard, when it's open, I usually go in for the mornings and help out with people who are lonely, like lonely adults, but just anyone who wants to come in, pop by, have a cup of tea and breakfast. So Breakfast Buddy is online, but in person, and it will be a variety of things of if they need help with making doctor's appointment to helping fill out benefit paperwork, anything like that where you find it hard to deal with on your own. And because I personally been through it myself, kind of similar with how to do the process, it's easier to have someone that's confident enough to do it and not feel overwhelmed with all the questions. And I also help with Sophia with make and do men's in the morning as well. And that's a really nice thing to do with Sophia and Kathy. And they're very creative. I wish I had half the skills that they have with what they do. It's so impressive. But
a lot of sewing, isn't it? I always see here on the sewing machine whipping something up. It's like 1 minute she's got 2 pieces of fabric, then the next minute she's got like a full outfit. It's like, where did that come
from? I wouldn't have the first clue.
No, all I know is probably like I've learned how to hem and sew buttons, and that's it. But it's progress. It's getting there.
Oh, that's good, because I can't even do that. Not even with needle and cotton. I can't. If my kids' buttons come off, I can't even put that back on. Sending them to their nans. What about you, Beth? What do you do at the yard?
So from about, I'd say probably 3:30, we've got young people in after they finish school. So on a Monday, we've been doing crafting club, which is kind of my baby at the moment. We've done lots of things. Most recently we did was koala bears made out of toilet roll tubes.
Oh, wow.
So that was really good. So we do a lot of arts and craftsy bits.
You got a lot of good response from that as well. Loads of people got involved with that.
Yeah, we've done. Rachel made some really nice on Valentine's Day. You did those little hearts where you wrapped them all around. They were really good.
Yeah.
So I love craft. I love arts. Anything arty, I'm like, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I think it draws kids in as well, because it's like they can get involved, and it doesn't matter like what they create, because it's their own perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. And if it's got paint involved, they love it.
Yeah, because they can make as much mess as they want.
Slap the paint on. Doesn't even matter if it looks good at the end. Just slap it on. Yeah. So that's really good. Like I said yesterday, we do a lot of gaming. So we have a project called Game Against Gangs, which is where we're trying to teach skills like teamwork, leadership. We're kind of looking at why young people participate in antisocial behaviour, why they take risks that they do, and then we're going to hopefully teach them ways to get out of the gangs, ways that they can correct this behaviour or learn new behaviours to replace what they've already been doing. So that's really good. That's like things. So we've got a pool table, so we use the pool table a lot. They absolutely love the pool table. We've got an arcade machine, which is really good. And then we've recently got like Xboxes. We've got a couple of VR headsets, which I'm looking forward to, but also I'm very nervous about using. Ever experienced anything like that? And I think I'm a bit like, oh. But
yeah, I'm not sure on that, the VR.
Yeah.
My son's got it for his PlayStation, and I'm a bit.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be motion sick. I think
Yeah.
Running around the room and with this thing on, what are you doing?
yeah.
And I'm thinking he's going to crash into something now, or he's going to fall, or he's...
I remember using it for the first time, and I got motion sickness. I actually felt quite nauseous, and I was only using it for like 10 minutes, and I wasn't even doing much. But it does mess with your head. It's weird, but it's very realistic.
So it would be very funny watching our young people do that. I think I'll crack
Yeah, definitely. I'd sit and enjoy that, watching them. Yeah. So how
So
we
it's
react.
so amusing, actually.
It'll be really good. And then another really good thing that we do is we have Just Living. So that's where we do life skills. So we've done a lot of cooking recently. Like we've done quite a lot of pasta, a lot of eggs. But it's just teaching young people those simple skills that perhaps they aren't getting at school anymore, because food ed is not the same as it used to be. Like even when I was at school, it was shocking. Like we made a fruit salad.
Yeah.
And up fruit. That's not teaching you how, like, where we should be making bread and things like that. Things that you can actually. So we're just trying to teach young people how to cook. We've also done like ironing, different things like that. We've gone to the supermarkets. We've gone to, say, Morrison's and Lidl, and we've compared the prices of like the things that you have in your fridge, like milk, butter, just to see what's more expensive. Just looking at things like cost of living, because obviously that's really important at the moment.
That's good, sure, because obviously everything's rising in prices now. So and kids wouldn't think, like, you know, when they turn 17, 18, they get their own places, whatever, you know, some a bit younger sometimes, obviously, if they live in hostels or etc., you know, or sheltered accommodation, wherever, they wouldn't think to, oh, well, if I go to Tesco, it's going to cost me £20 more than it is in Lidl's, and that £20 I can use to buy my electric, or I can use to I can have a night out with my friends. So they wouldn't think like that. So it is really good that obviously they've got that help and support that you can educate them in that way.
And one other thing that we do, we've got yard talks where we're going to be doing podcasting and making a magazine. So that'll be really good when we get that up and running.
Oh, that would be cool.
I've never made a podcast before, and seeing all the equipment upstairs, I'm like, whoa, this looks far too complicated for my brain. So I'm hoping Steve will swoop in and help us figure that out.
Oh, that would be fun. It'll be interesting to like start actually thinking of topics and having a conversation that, like, instead of it being like online like this, but also being in each other's presence and having a conversation, which would be.
I know we've got the Knife Angel coming to us in May, so I think we're going to do a podcast on that. So
that'd be fantastic. Oh,
that's a massive problem with kids these days, isn't it? Knife crime.
Yeah, definitely.
There's been like a lot of bad publicity, like with knives in obviously Wales. There was a young boy. I say young boy, he was like 26, but he was stabbed to death by youths who were 15, 16 and 17.
Such a shame.
They don't realise what they've done to their lives. They've ruined their lives for stealing a Gucci bag. And killed him for a Gucci. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame.
Right, so shall we get in? Do you have any more questions at all?
No, we can crack on.
Okay, so shall we get into some news that we've managed to find? Right. So who would like to start off?
I can go first. So one of the things that I found, and I was completely oblivious to this yesterday, it was actually the 2nd anniversary of the first national lockdown yesterday.
Oh.
Did either of you know that? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't realise that.
I was completely like, I don't know why it feels like so much longer than that for me.
It feels like it's gone on forever.
Yeah. So when I was just having a read, and there were a lot of things that were going on. So like people were shining a light or displaying flowers in their windows.
Yeah.
There was a memorial concert at St Paul's Cathedral. There was something else as well. A minute's silence was held at midday.
Yeah.
And that was done by Marie Curie. I just think it's incredible to think that all of this has happened, and it kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Thinking about, I don't know, it shocks me a little bit.
It's just in the space of 2 years, like a lot of conflict and also like harmony where people are working together, but it's like clashing a lot, I've noticed. But it's crazy how much has changed in that space of time with 2 years. And then we're kind of back to normal. But to me,
but then also like this bit is scary to me. Like it says that Chris Whitty said that the COVID rates are high and rising.
Yeah.
But they're not causing surges in intensive care and death. But to me, that's still like, wow. Like 2 years in, and it's still
making.
It's still causing chaos.
Yeah.
Well, there's still all the restrictions like to travel and things. It's like Spain won't allow you in unless you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of countries who are following suit with that.
Yeah.
So it's still like a big problem in the world.
Yeah. I know my grandparents who are 75, 76, they've been offered their 4th jab now. So their second.
Oh, wow.
No, not
This
4th.
4th one.
5th? Is it 5th?
5th.
Oh, it'll be 5th. It'll be their second booster.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Which is just mind-boggling to me.
I don't understand it. I don't understand how, like, you can have a flu jab once a year, but then you have to have all these jabs for this one infection, like, you know, infection, as it be called.
I just don't understand.
Even my children, they send a text out that they're going to start vaccinating in schools between the ages, from the age of 5.
Okay. How would you feel about that?
My 2 boys have had their vaccines, but my eldest son, he's 12 and he's got a heart condition.
Yeah.
So I made him have it because of the fact of the risk it poses to him. If he caught it, he'd be seriously ill. He'd probably be in intensive care.
Yeah.
So the risk to me is not worth him catching it. He's due his 2nd jab now. Yeah. But his consultant did explain it all to me, and he said, like, it's a high risk that if he catches it without a jab, he's going to get really ill. Like, he still could get ill with the jab, but not as ill. And the likelihood of intensive care is a lot less and lower. Yeah. Whereas if he didn't, it's going to be a lot higher.
Yeah.
My 11-year-old had it as well.
Yeah.
And he had it for asthma.
Yeah.
But like, he's not really ill in himself. Mm. But he's had it because I thought, well, if the one's having it, I can't make one have it and then say to him, oh, well, you haven't got to have it.
Yeah.
But then my eldest boy's going to say, well, that's not fair. He hasn't got to have it, so I don't want it. But then my daughter was asking, well, why can't I have it? Because they've had it. Yeah. So she wants it anyway. So it's like, because they've had it. Yeah, she thinks she's missing out on having this injection. Well, she's not. She'll be screaming when she does have it. But yeah, I think it's a good thing, I suppose, because you don't know. Like, there's another variant, I think, out in there, a different one to do with this Omicron.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law was telling me. And obviously, as winter comes, it's going to mutate, and there's going to be all these different variants.
Yeah.
Which, at least if they got a bit of immunity to the ones that are already out, surely they'll have immunity to these new ones that are coming. Well, even if it's not full, at least a bit, you know?
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming. Like, I'd never expected to go through what we've just been through in the last 2 years, where everything's shut. You can't visit your family. You can't go out. You can't do anything. But I worked all through the pandemic because I'm a domiciliary carer as well. Yeah. So I had to work all through the pandemic, and it was quite scary because, like, some days you'd be the only car on the roads, and it was like apocalypto. Like the end. It was just weird. Like, it really, really weird. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I'd want to go through again.
No. I think moving forward, people have just got to take their own precautions, haven't they? Like, keeping yourself safe if you are vulnerable. Continue.
I think there's more there's definitely more of it to come. I think that's not going to be the first.
It's like you say, whenever winter comes back around, it's like flu, isn't it? Or just common colds. When it gets colder, people's immune systems are...
It is going to be different. Obviously, it won't be COVID next time. Maybe it'll be something else. But I think this lockdown restrictions, I don't think that's going to be the first of our lifetime where we're put in lockdown because of these, illnesses that are circulating through the world. I think it'll be the first of many, to be honest.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it does sound horrible, but I don't believe that's going to be the first and last time in our lifetimes that we're going to have to go through something like that. I think it's going to happen again. But
yeah,
God knows.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, keep safe. Keep your hands washed, hand back in, wearing a mask if you can. Or if you want to. Just don't even have to, do you?
No.
Thankfully, now the weather better. Instead of getting public transport, where if it is possible, walking to work, cycling to work, would a lot easier. Obviously, you can drive, but with buses and trains, it's like an incubator, really.
Yeah.
So our next bit, what else have you got for us, Beth?
So this is actually something that happened, I think it was last Thursday, but there was been an update on it yesterday about P&O ferries.
I literally got it. I just pause. I'll be back in about 2 seconds.
Sorry. So I don't know whether you saw, Rachel.
Okay.
P&O ferries sacked 800 people on the spot last Thursday.
What? Why?
No warning whatsoever. So this is the video that the guy released. I hope you can hear that.
The company has made the decision that its vessels going forward will be primarily crewed by a third-party crew provider. Therefore, I am sorry to inform you that this means your employment is terminated with immediate effect on the grounds of redundancy. Your final day of employment is today.
So that's the video that they got. And that's it. That was what they got from him. So, like, unions are saying and ministers are saying that what he did was completely illegal.
Yeah.
Because he gave no reason behind it. It was, like, completely unwarranted. But now, I saw yesterday that the staff were being offered £36.5 million in total, with 40 getting more than £100,000 each.
What, to leave?
Like, as a bit of a compensation.
Okay.
But people are it says here, the unions are saying that it's pure blackmail and threats, which I kind of agree with. I think if you're going to fire 800 people, and then once everyone's kicked up a fuss about it, saying that you've broken the law, for you to turn around and say, actually, we'll give you this money, I think that's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
If I was the people, I'd be like, hang on a minute, no, you can't just pay me off.
No.
Now that you've decided to sack me. I just think, when I saw it, I was like, that is absolutely disgusting. And I think this is also horrific. So it says the video message in which the company sacked workers last Thursday prompted a widespread outrage. The unions claiming some staff will be replaced by Indian seafarers on £1.81 an hour. So they're basically saying they've got rid of all of the staff that they had originally.
Yeah.
They will be replaced by these workers that will be on £1.81 an hour. I think that adds even more disgust to me. But
that's disgusting.
It's absolutely shocking. And I hope that when did I read? I think they're waiting for a response from him.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah. They had until Tuesday to respond to a letter. So
the Tuesday coming up, so it'll be.
Yeah, I think so. So I think it'll be next Tuesday possibly, or maybe it was even Tuesday just gone.
Yeah.
But, so there it says pointed out that failure to notify as a criminal offence can lead to an unlimited fine. So what he's done, he should be getting in big trouble for.
Yeah, definitely.
But honestly, it's just shocking.
I think it's also like it's so insensitive as well that
Yeah.
it's only 23 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why that really irks me. Like it's like I put in so much time and commitment into your company and helping you raise money for your business.
You can send
And
a
all you
video.
can give me is a video call
Yeah.
of 23 seconds. Adios.
Yeah. Exactly. No reason whatsoever.
No. Oh, that's really bad. I'm hoping he gets held accountable because it is illegal to just dismiss without any reasoning.
Yeah.
And I don't know what did he even give a notice? Like
It was literally on the day. So the video was like published on the ship, and it said that their last day of work was that day, so last Thursday.
oh, okay. Not great.
So it's
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that because
it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
For someone to get away with doing that, it's just
Yeah, and it's like the audacity of it all as well. And it's interesting to think that you would think he would get away with that, especially over 800 employees, and think not one of them's not going to react and call him out on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I've got a news story myself. Let's see if I can get this up. One of them, it was in Pink News, so it's a news about Disney. And I'd like to say that Disney is having good news, but at the moment they're under a little bit of scrutiny because obviously we got the Disney star Raven-Symoné, but it's more about this. So Disney has faced backlash over its political donation to Republicans, pushing the bill which would ban LGBT plus topics in classrooms. And it really threw me back, especially when they had been trying to push the narrative of being pro LGBT when especially I think there was a children's TV show where one of the characters came out gay.
Okay.
And that was a big moment for them. But the reasoning for this was because they defended the political donation and said that the biggest impact it could make was by creating inspiring content. I'm not entirely sure what that meant.
Right.
But the CEO, Bob Chapek, has apologised and has paused donation, but has been slammed for not taking meaningful actions against Don't Say Gay. So it's terrible, and most of their employees are under the LGBT. And it's just like Raven-Symoné, loads of other employees from animation studios, from working in the theme park, everything has walked out to protest. So how do you feel about this, especially like the Don't Say Gay bill for children's education?
I think I don't know how to get my. It's hard because I think even in the UK, children aren't taught about that. Like when I'm doing like sex education, you talk about straight sex, and that's it. There is nothing else that is spoken about. I don't think that any of the lesson, even in like PSHE, I don't think there was ever a specific topic that covered LGBTQIA plus history.
No.
But obviously, I mean, I don't have kids and I'm not in school now, so I don't know if you know, Lindsay, if your children are learning.
No, my son learns about sex education oh God, not that long ago, probably the beginning of the year, the school year. And he didn't mention anything to me about like heterosexual, gay, anything like that. Like literally, it was just, I know how you make a baby. That was it. That's what he came home and told me. And I was like, well, I suggest you keep that to yourself. Because obviously I've got a 7-year-old, which I don't really want knowing about things like that at that age. But there was nothing, he didn't mention anything about,
No.
you know, like, you know,
Even in
obviously
other lessons.
bisexual, gay, anything like that. No, like nothing.
I think
sorry.
Go on, Rachel.
I just feel like it is important to, in some level, to say that gay sex is a thing, as well as lesbian sex, and it's healthy, and it's not something that shouldn't be talked about, because there are children that probably don't, like, they'll attend it and probably think, why do I need to know this? I'm not interested in a male versus female situation, but more want to be with other girls or vice versa. But I wouldn't know the best way to approach it, whether it could be a separate thing. So, like, if you're interested in learning about safe sex for same-sex individuals, then, and it'll be a permission. I don't know whether it should be a permission slip. I feel like it could be for parents to say, yes, that's okay to learn. And do it that way. What do you think there?
I think it needs to be introduced in different ways as well. I think it doesn't have to be like just predominantly like in sex. Like it's not all about that, is it? Because you have like asexual and is it biromantic where you don't have
and then aromantic. You've got demisexuals.
So there's so many things that young people, I think, should be at least a tiny bit aware of or have a basic understanding of. So if they come across that, which they might do, because I think things are changing so rapidly, even from when I was like 16, 17, the only things that we were probably aware of was being gay and lesbian. And maybe a few bisexual people saying, oh, actually, I kind of like men and women. But I feel like now young people are having the confidence and are being able to say, actually, I like this. I like what I like.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be met with the same level of understanding from everyone.
Yeah.
Because you're not experiencing that. You should at least be able to recognise why it is that they feel that way. Even if people don't agree with it, because there'll always be people that don't, I think there still needs to be that level of, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah. Because I remember when I had sex ed in school, in my head I thought, why am I learning this? Because I'm never going to need to learn this. Obviously, I didn't realise at the time I was on the spectrum of asexuality and homosexuality, but I didn't understand the sexual attraction or the feeling hormonal and wanting to, like, the urges and stuff. I didn't understand any of that. And I thought I was broken. So for a long time, I thought, well, maybe that's how I should deal with it. I'll have a normal relationship. But in reality, it is healthy to be that way as well. So, and like you said, it should be like not even going deep into depth, but like you also got this definition, this definition, this definition.
Exactly.
If you want to know more, join this club. And then that'd be a way to approach it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
why the actors are well in their right to walk off the set, especially for people like Raven, who is LGBT.
I think definitely.
Making your point, because they're not going to make it, the companies aren't going to make any money without the actors and actresses. So
yeah, and it is a big insult for her as well, because she's been a big representation under Disney for being I think lesbian,
yeah, possibly.
And that was a big thing when she came out, and when she started coming back, we were thinking, oh, this is great, because after the character coming out and trying to give hints of people being gay in stories and stuff.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with the walkout and protest, because
Yeah,
they wouldn't get
definitely.
the success they would. I
Yeah.
don't think.
No.
Do you have a news story, Lindsay?
Yeah, I sent to Beth because I don't know how to put them on.
I can get that for you. Which one did you want to talk about?
I don't mind.
Do you want to go for the youth centre one? Because I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, we can go for that one.
Yeah.
Let me get it up on my phones.
Oh, fantastic.
Get it up. 2
It's low.
seconds. Let's get it on my phone now. Oh.
The new youth centre with the climbing wall. Oh,
Climbing wall. That's it.
Yeah, so basically in Cardiff, obviously, like I said, there's not really a lot of provision for young people.
Yeah.
And an area in Cardiff, which is a little bit far away from me, be like probably 2 buses for my children to access it.
Okay.
But it's a start for them to start doing these things in Cardiff. Hopefully they make more of them around there. They're introducing a new youth centre, which they're going to build.
Yeah.
Which will have a music studio, a gym, a sports hall, and a climbing wall.
That's
And an all-weather football pitch, fully equipped kitchen, recording equipment, so obviously they can learn to make music if that's what they're interested in. Because obviously, a lot of young people, I know my son loves like drill and that type of music, which obviously it's got to be done through these type of studios. And the cost of it as well was like really appealing to me, that it would cost 50p a day for the children to go there. Which
do you agree with that?
It's really cheap, to be honest. I think like it's a good idea, because obviously some parents kind of, if you've got like 4, like for me, for example, I've got 4 children. So for me to send all 4 of my children there, if it was £5, it would cost me £20 before I'd even give them a couple of pounds each for their lunch. Whereas if they're only charging that price, then you don't mind giving them that couple of pounds for them to go and spend in the youth club as well, to be able, if they said they, because obviously it says they've got a fully equipped kitchen. So if they're going to do food and they did like hot dog and chips for £2.50, you'd be more enticed to give your children the money to go and spend in there. Because you've got more money available than you would if you were having to pay £20 for them to get in, and then their food on top. Like, it's a lot of money, and obviously Ely is where they've made the provision is probably one of like the most deprived areas in Cardiff. It's one of the the lower. So obviously for the people in that area, it would be expensive for them to be able to do such thing. But it says that there's 14 of these other youth zones there in England. The Cardiff, this youth zone that would be set up would be the first one in Wales, and it would be open to people.
That's so surprising to me. That is so surprising to me. I don't know why.
This is what I said. There's nothing for like obviously in my area, or even going across. Like obviously Cardiff is a big city, and obviously it's like London is like capital, and then obviously Cardiff is our capital. And you think being a capital, it's have a lot more to offer young people than what it currently does. And obviously this is going to be the first one in Wales, and it'll be open to, it says it's be open to children or young people aged between 8 to 19 every day. And it says that they've already got a fantastic youth service in Cardiff, but it's not, they have got a fantastic youth service, but it's not, there's not many provisions for children to access like this. So I think this will definitely be a fantastic opportunity for children.
Definitely. I'm surprised that there isn't enough in Cardiff, because like my dad lives in Wales, and he always says Wales is amazing, you should move there. And I'm like, okay, maybe, but I'm really surprised that there is a lack of anything for children to do and teenagers.
Yeah, there's not like there's really not a lot. Like obviously this, like it's stating in the news, is going to be the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Obviously in Wales, and that it just says it all really, that there's nothing. They might have like youth clubs, like little local youth clubs, but nothing like with an interest like that for young people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously if the youth clubs are
Yeah.
not, you know, sort of like the youth club by me is open, but it's only tiny.
Yeah.
And obviously where the guy who ran it is gone now, where he passed away, they don't really want to go there anymore, the children, because there's not
No.
anybody who's appealing there for them. So if they had things like that there, I think my son would probably stay off the streets because he'd be more enticed to go there where he can play football all day, he can go and climbing wall, he can go in the studio and make his music with his friends. He would more likely go there than to go hanging around the streets and getting himself into trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely think they need more things like that in Cardiff. Yeah, definitely. I think it's amazing.
That's
I think
really
it'd be good as well to get free provisions, because although 50p, like, it doesn't sound like a lot, for a lot of people it will be a lot. Like at the yard we offer everything for free, apart from perhaps if we're going on trips. Like last summer we went to Brighton and we did ask for a donation towards that, but obviously if we know that young people are
fundraisers and things for things like that, if there's children who are less fortunate, you can do like fun things like wash cars or go and pack people shopping in Tesco and help them to fund their trips that way.
Yeah, definitely. But it does sound like Wales needs some more youth provisions.
It does.
I wonder if they do the 50p charge because it's really cheap to live in Wales. I've heard, like, the houses apparently is much cheaper compared to, like,
it depends where you live in Wales. Like,
okay.
Like if you live in the city centre,
it'll be quite clear.
Yeah, depending on area, to be honest, of like how expensive they are. Like city centre is through the roof, and around the city centre, like say walking distance, 10-15 minutes is through the roof. And then you've got areas in Cardiff then which, like, some of the houses, like just 3-4 bedroom houses, they could go for £1 million.
Oh wow.
Of where they are in Cardiff, that's like Kincoid, Lisvane. They're like the really expensive areas of Cardiff. And then you've got like sort of where I live, it's like I'm borderline between Newport and Cardiff.
Okay.
I'm on the M4 corridor, so it's like a sought after place to live because people could commute straight to Bristol, etc. So even though I'm not dead smack in the middle of the city centre, I'm about 15-20 minute drive max. My house price here is is still expensive compared to like in between. So like between me and the city centre is probably cheaper. And then obviously you've got the city centre where it's expensive, and then you've got the outskirts which are expensive because of the access you've got for commuting.
I'm probably thinking of like with my father, he lives in Flint. I think that's like North Wales. So it's very middle of nowhere, lots of fields and sheep. And that's probably why, because there isn't really much for things around there. And I'm like,
the further you go up, like Wales, really, like sort of into the valleys and that sort of way. I don't think Swansea and like those type of areas are too cheap to live, I'll be honest. I think it's more like, you know, like into the valleys. So like that sort of way is cheaper because obviously there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of there's nothing really there. You're living in the middle of mountains and it's not the best. They're all sort of like little coal mining villages. So they're like the old coal miners' houses, all terrace.
That makes sense actually.
So like that sort of area is cheap to live, but when you're like city or just outside city, it's an expensive city, and the cost of living is not really very cheap in Cardiff. They're trying to make it like London now here, where you have congestion charges. Everything is one way through the city centre. You're only allowed, they want to put, so you're only allowed to drive certain times of the day. through the city centre without being charged. There's
Okay.
loads of roads being shut, so it's just been open to cycles and taxis and buses.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, that's very interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
it's not the biggest of cities. It's little,
No.
but yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. And do you have another story it was, or would you like to save it for tomorrow?
Yeah, we can save them for tomorrow. I did send Beth them up, but yeah, we can keep
Yeah,
them
I've
for
got them
tomorrow.
on set.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'd like to say thank you so much for those watching. Before we head off, Beth, would you like to fill us in on what to expect online? Because I know we've got Breakfast Buddy tomorrow.
Yep. So then we've also got Jasmine's story time tomorrow. She's going to be reading Giver of Stars, I believe.
Yep.
And then next week we've got Monday, which will be my story time, where I'm reading The Last Wish, which is The Witcher, which I'm quite enjoying actually.
Oh, nice.
Tuesday we'll have Breakfast Buddies again.
Yeah.
Wednesday Breakfast Buddies. Thursday Breakfast Buddies. And then Friday, Jasmine's book again. And then I'll also be streaming Lindsay's book, which she read, Gangster Granny. So keep an eye out for that. That'll probably be Wednesday. So that'll be really good.
Fantastic. All right. So thank you so much for popping by, and we will see you guys tomorrow. And have a lovely day. And be sure to keep looking at us online. Even though we are shut, we are still available online. So keep an eye out. All right.
Okay, everyone.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.